Chapter 2, Claiming Your Website and Rich Pins. In this chapter, I'm going to go over step-by-step how to claim your website with Pinterest and how to enable rich pins. Rich pins are important because they pull extra content and wording from the back end of your site to give your pins a longer and broader reach. If you're ready, let's dive in. Why do you want to have rich pins? Now, before I get into showing you exactly how to claim your site and enable rich pins, I want to talk a little bit more about why we use them on Pinterest and why they're important. So rich pins are a type of organic pin that pulls information directly from your website. Rich pins can be identified by the bold title, as you can see on the left, on your pin, and extra information listed above or below your pin. If something changes on your website or page the pin is linked to, the rich pin information changes as well. Now, something I want to note about this is a glitch that's been occurring probably for the last year. Pinterest has acknowledged that it's a glitch. Nobody seems to know when it's going to be fixed. So what's happening? You can see that my pin has a bolded title, and that's showing that it's a rich pin. However, it's not pulling that extra information from the back end of my site. And what it does is this is my uploaded pin title that I type in, my uploaded pin description, and then the rich pin information they take from your site usually shows down at the bottom here or at the top. Either or, I don't know why it chooses to be on the top or the bottom, but it just does. Now, it hasn't been pulling that extra information for, like I said, probably about the last 12 months. I've noticed that sometimes it will pop up and it will come and go. I don't know why that's happening either. I'm guessing it's just part of this whole rich pin glitch that's occurring. But either way, it's still really important to enable them because this bold title gives you more of an official look on Pinterest, and it still does help the reach of your pin, even though it's not displaying that extra information from the back end of your site. You still want to enable them. So when you do and you upload your pin, just make sure that your title is at least bolded, and if you're not seeing that extra information being pulled, don't freak out. This is only for article pins. Now, there are 3 different types of rich pins. I'll talk about all 3. But this is for an article pin, and an article pin is just that. It's a news article or a blog post. So if you have a blog, don't worry too much when you're not seeing that extra content being pulled. And I'm going to show you exactly where to add that in as well. But for now, that is a little glitch that's occurring with rich pins. They're still important to enable. So just keep that in mind moving forward. So there are 3 types of rich pins: recipe rich pins, article rich pins, which again are blog posts as well, and product rich pins. So the first one I'm going to talk about is a recipe rich pin. Now this is my client's pin. She is a food blogger. She has amazing recipes. I only, when I created this pin and uploaded it, added the title and the description. The rich pins pulled the ingredients here and the time it took and the serving size from the back end of her site. So recipe-rich pins allow you to show a title, serving size, cook time, and ingredient list directly on your recipe pins, as you can see here. They can also display recipe ratings, certain dietary categories such as paleo, vegetarian, vegan, or gluten-free. Recipe-rich pins will update to reflect any changes you make to the recipe on your site. So they're a pretty cool added feature to have if you are a food blogger. Next, we have an article pin or a blog post. So Pinterest defines an article as any page that contains text, like a blog post. They don't consider listicles or pages that are mostly images to be articles. And if you're wondering what a listicle is, that is just a page that has a list on it or bullet points. So that's not considered an article. If your blog posts are light on text, then they might not qualify to be categorized as article-rich pins. This type of rich pin shows the title of your post, a brief excerpt, and the author's name along with the image. Now, I know you might be thinking, Megan, maybe your blog posts just aren't long enough, and that's why it's not pulling content. Well, I thought that too, and I've checked, and that's not the case. As you can see here, this is Forbes. They're a pretty big magazine, and their content's not pulling for rich pins either. You can see their bold title showing that it is a rich pin, but it's still not pulling that extra content from the back of their site. So that's that. Lastly, a product rich pin. So a product rich pin allows you to show the real-time pricing, product availability, and item descriptions on product pins from your website. This type of rich pin can be added from sites that sell products directly to customers like Etsy or Shopify, or really if you have an online boutique or any type of store, it'll be considered a product rich pin. This means that you can only link product rich pins directly to the website where the customers can purchase your product. So that just means it will not be considered a product rich pin if you're talking about a product within an article or a blog post. It has to be like a picture of your product, and when they click on it, it brings them to the sales page. So that's considered a product rich pin. Pinterest now has this new-ish feature, as you can see down here, where when you type something in, you can see I typed shoes, you have 3 different options. So Explore is going to show me some product rich pins, but it's also going to show me like fashion posts on shoes and blog posts on shoes. Okay, if I want to actually shop my product, I click on the middle one that says shop, and that shows only pins that are product rich and that link exactly to or directly to a sales page. Now, profiles, if you click on that, that's going to bring up profiles that are all about shoes. Okay, so those are the 3 different types of rich pins, and now I'm going to show you how to claim your website and enable rich pins on Pinterest. All right, so I'm going to show you how to enable rich pins with a WordPress site. This is the type of website that I have, so this is how I can show you how to do it. If you have a different type of website or an Etsy store or a Shopify store, if you look at the links above this video, there's going to be different websites listed, and like Etsy, Shopify, you can click on them and watch tutorials on how to enable them with the different types of sites. Unfortunately, I don't have all those different types of sites, so I can only show you with WordPress. But the way that I'm going to show you is a super easy, foolproof way to do it. So the cool thing is when you claim your website, you kind of enable rich pins at the same time when you do it with WordPress. There's going to be a link up there for Wix, GoDaddy, Etsy, Shopify, and if there's a website that you have or a host that you have that's not listed, just Google it. I mean, you can reach out to me and I can Google it for you and absolutely find the best article that will show you how to do it. But if you just go to Google and type in how to claim rich or how to enable rich pins for whatever type of site you have, the article is going to pop up. I mean, there's tons of different tutorials on there for different kinds of sites. But again, I have WordPress, so that's what I'm going to show you. And if you don't see the link above for the type of site you have, just Google it or email me. Okay, so as you can see right here, my site is claimed. I'm going to show you the steps to do this. I can't physically go through every single step because I've already claimed my website, so I can't do it again. But I will walk you through it. And if you go to the PDF, which is going to be below this video, it'll show you step by step in words how to do it as well. So, you can watch me do it on here, and then you can look at the PDF and do it yourself. People tend to get confused on this part. It can be confusing. Again, if you need help, please email me or post in the group so somebody can help walk you through it. So right here, this little check mark shows, again, as you can see, it says this website has been claimed. That's just a really important thing to have. And again, these are idea pins, so that isn't going to show you what you want to see. But here, with my static pins, like these are static pins, and you see how these titles on the static pins are bold. That's, again, showing, hey, this is, a rich pin. If you go to your home feed, you can see different things. See how these are all bold here? That's a rich pin. That's a rich pin. This is not a rich pin. These are all rich pins. Most pins that you'll see on a business account are going to be rich pins, but not all of them are. So like that's not a rich pin. Stuff like that. So this is why they're important. They help make you look a little bit more official. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to settings. Actually, I'll show you on this account, my fake account over here. So you'll go here and you'll go to settings. Now, again, I'm going to show you how to set all this up coming up later in the course. But to claim your website, you're going to go over here where it says claim. All right, so websites, Etsy, YouTube, Shopify. Okay, these are all the different things that you can claim. If you have a website and an Etsy store and YouTube, you can claim every single one of them. These are all the different ones you can do. You used to be able to claim Instagram, you can't anymore. You used to be able to claim Facebook, can't anymore. They might bring it back, they might not. They like to add and remove things. So, if they add that feature, the course will be updated to reflect that. So, to claim your website, you're going to click on Claim. And the easiest way to do it is to add the HTML tag. Okay? This is the easiest way to do it. So you're going to click, it says click to copy. You're going to do that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the back end of your website, okay? So let me go here. So this is the back end of my site. I'm in a blog post because I'm going to show you some other stuff coming up. But what you want to do is you want to download the free version, you do not have to pay for this, of Yoast SEO. Okay, so if you don't already have it on there, I want you to pause the video, go to your website and download the Yoast SEO plugin. Okay, the free version, you don't have to pay for it. Once you have downloaded it, I want you to activate it. Okay, once it's activated and ready to go, it will show on the left side of your back end of your website like this. Again, if you have a WordPress site, this is what it's going to look like. This is where it's going to be. Okay. If you go to Yoast SEO, once you have it downloaded, you're going to go to where it says social right here. Now you see all these different accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. You're going to take the tag, this tag that you copied right here, and you're going to paste it where it says Pinterest confirmation. Here, that's where you're going to paste your tag, and you're going to click Save Changes. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go here. This is my fake site. I'm going to click copy, and then I'm going to click continue. Now, once you have taken that tag and you have pasted it here and you've clicked save, you come back, you click that continue. Now you're going to paste your website URL right here, and then you're going to click verify. Okay? So again, you have to, on the back end of your site, paste it where it says Pinterest and Yoast SEO. Make sure you click save, come back, enter your website. So mine would be lovefamilyhealth.com, https lovefamilyhealth.com, and then I would click verify. You're going to get a notification that will either say, we can't verify your rich pins, which then means something else is wrong, or it'll say, please allow, I think it's up to 48 hours for your rich pins to activate. So sometimes you get a notification saying, hey, your rich pins have been activated. You'll get an email, and sometimes you don't. So again, the only way to know is to go to your site. Like I said, it's claiming your website and it's enabling rich pins at the same time. Okay. The only way to know is if you have this little circle, like globe guy over here with a check mark, and then if you upload a pin, the title of it will be bold. If you don't see that after 48 hours, you might have to try it again. If you get an error message, there could be some other things wrong. If you do it the way that I showed you with WordPress, 99% of the time you're not going to get an error message. What I have found, see, my host for my site is, who do I use? No, I can't even think of it because it'll come to me in just a second who I use. But I use SiteGround, and I love them. I literally cannot recommend them enough. Any issues I've had, I live chat, and they fix it in like 1 minute for me. So if there's any issues and you can't claim it, if you have SiteGround or whoever you have as your host, just send them a message. Like, hey, I'm trying to set up rich pins. I'm getting this error message. What do you think it could be? I did this for one of my clients, and they're like, oh, this X, Y, and Z isn't tagged. We untagged it. Try it again, and it worked. So again, this is how you do it with a WordPress site. Click the links above to find out how to do it with your type of site. If they're not there, we can work together to figure it out. But again, usually you'll see this little globe here within a few hours, but I have seen it take up to 2 days for some accounts. So don't necessarily worry if you don't see it right away. Again, you may or may not get an email letting you know, hey, it's done or it's not done. So just check back to your profile and see if it's there or not. Again, below this video are step-by-step instructions on how to do this on WordPress as well. So if you have any questions, please send me an email or post in the group. So the last thing I want to show you with Rich Pins is where you're going, with article rich pins, where you're going to add that extra information to the back end of your site. I know with recipe rich pins, it's laid out different so that it pulls that recipe from your site. And with Etsy or your Shopify store, once you set it up and claim it, you don't have to worry about it. It's just going to pull your pricing and so on for you. But with your blog posts, this is where it's going to pull the information from. So I'm going to just show you one of my blog posts and show you if it worked properly for article pins, or when it starts working properly, this is where it's going to pull from. So I have my whole post here down at the bottom. Now where it has I have premium Yoast, but even if you don't, this is still where you're going to add it. It still has these options for you. So where I have my snippet right here is where it's this meta description here. That is where it's going to pull for the rich pins. If it worked properly and listed that extra information above or below my pin, it's going to pull from the meta description. So you just want to make sure that that has some, we'll talk about keywords coming up, has some keywords in it, as long as it pertains to your article. This is where it's going to pull from. Again, so I have my Yoast SEO set up. Even if it's not premium, you're still going to have this little snippet here that you can add, and that is where this meta description, if you click on edit snippet, meta description, it's going to pull this. Again, it hasn't been working, so if you don't see that extra description pop up on your pin, it's not anything that you're doing wrong, but that is where it's going to pull from. So if you're ready, we'll start with chapter 3. Chapter 2